Hello everyone, it's Caribbean E and Tina.
Hi.
Welcome to the channel. Hope you all guys having a wonderful day, and that your day is going good as ours, and that you are in the best of health.
And obviously, as usual, most importantly, health.
Health is key.
So today we're going to do a little convo with you guys about how in the DR you kind of have to make a more of an effort, I would say, to make people do their jobs and help them do them correctly.
There we go.
And also kind of common courtesy, how to get along with others. So it's a little mix of both. But anyway, out here we had a little issue with Glado. Remember that?
Sure did. Big one.
So we went 1 month and I said, hey guys, you know, I've already paid this bill. And they were like, no, we have no record of you paying that bill. And I was like, I most certainly have paid this cell phone bill, this portion. I was like, I paid it X date. And then they were like, do you have the receipt? Simple question, right?
Simple, real simple.
But here's the problem with me, because I'm used to doing this in the US. You give me a receipt, and the second you give it to me, I tear it up and I toss it, because I don't like all the paper.
Right.
So when I first got here, that's what we did. And for the first few payments,
Right.
I had tossed them, because I figured, hey, it's like the US, you know, they got computer systems.
Yeah.
Glado's a big, big business.
Yeah.
They'll have record. I have nothing to fear. And what did the lady say when I told her I didn't have the receipt?
She said she was acting like she never seen this before in her whole life. Denial. You got, and I got on Tina, I said, listen, babe, you got to keep every receipt you have in this country. And basically what this video is about, you got to hold people accountable and make sure they do their jobs, because they're getting paid. Because I had a problem with Colorado too by myself.
So you basically I learned the hard way, and I have done this ever since, you have to keep all of your receipts, because without the proof, you cannot prove payment. And sometimes it is the, I would say, antiquated technology limitations or the lack of knowledge of systems of the person working there.
Right.
And they cannot sometimes look through past payments and say, oh, here's what you're talking about.
You're right.
You did not have that problem at the electric company at El Norte.
Right.
They found your deposit, they found everything, not a problem, not a hiccup. But
Right.
like I said, everything varies. And so now I have learned, keep your receipts. Keep all your receipts. I literally have receipts. Now we've been here over a year. After that incident happened in Glado, and that happened like 1 or 2 months in.
Right.
Every receipt since then for everything we ever paid for, except for, I mean, obviously groceries and Venmo pack, because I can toss those because I paid them and I'm done. But every utility, anything that we've ever paid, I have proof. I learned my lesson. Another thing, they don't always hire the best people, or shall I say the people with the best skill set for certain jobs. So they don't always accomplish what you need at the expectations that you're used to from the USA. Let's just put it that way. Here, it's not instilled in them.
Right.
Customer service, customer service, customer service. And you also have to remember that they have an illiteracy rate of 6%
Yeah.
at least in large cities, and in smaller cities, a higher rate.
Right.
So that brings me to the fact of what happened to you
Right.
at the grocery store. Because remember, if people are having challenges in reading, they're given certain jobs, like you pointed out.
Security.
Jobs that they're not really required to read per se to do their jobs.
Right.
So now tell them what happened to you.
And so what happened to me is I had back issues. So my doctor out here from the VA gave me a letter, because they got social distancing and long lines and everything.
Right.
She gave me a letter, so I don't have to stand in long lines, hurt my back, and my back start hurting if I stand there too long. So I gave it to one guy on one day.
At a grocery
He read it
store.
at a grocery store, Supermercado Nacional. He read it, great. gave me the little gun thing, checked my temperature. I was in. Came back a couple of days later to another guy, gave him the same letter. He could not read that letter at all.
Right. And it was in Spanish.
It was all in Spanish. The letter was in Spanish.
The doctor's Spanish. She's not.
So then it dawned on me, and I've got some Dominicans here too that tell me that they had some maids that didn't work out because they didn't follow the instructions and follow the details.
Right.
So I mean, I'm having a lot of Dominicans tell me that make sure whoever you hire, whatever you get them to do, make sure you check behind them because it seems like everybody's looking over everybody's back here.
Right. But with the guy, going back before we get too off, going back to the guy, you had to get him to get someone else who could assist him with the letter, correct?
I had to get somebody else.
Were able to.
And I was able to proceed because he couldn't handle it. He couldn't read. And I could look at him and I could tell this guy.
You kind of know.
Can't
That's
read.
what
This guy can't
you,
read.
You kind of got to have a little patience and say,
you
know, no problem. Just I can wait. Just
Right.
get somebody else that can maybe help you out. But so on to the next thing. So that's that. The service industry are so used to people here really demanding things, not being very nice to them. I feel almost sorry, I tell you all the time, because some people are very demanding, pushy here, and then they don't tip.
Right.
Or they don't tip much. And I almost feel like the wait staff kind of want to see if there's going to be compensation before they help you. I hate to say that, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, if you're kind of joke with them and be like, don't worry, believe me, I got you, kind of a thing, then they tend to put that guard down and then give you a little bit better service.
Right, absolutely.
But I preface that with, but that does not excuse certain expats who encourage visitors that are coming here to be cheap.
Right.
Or to not tip so much because you don't want to make it bad for the people who live here. Listen, tip a person what they're worth. People are worth what they're worth. If the service warranted a tip, why should you have to only give them a couple of pennies when you know that was great service?
Right.
I'm not saying give a person, unless you feel it in your heart and you're so inclined to give a person $100, like sometimes they do, pay it forward kind of deal. But, no, I'm not saying that. But if a person gave me great service, why, if in America, would I give them like a 12 or 14% of the total, which by no means is high here. Right. It's a low total.
Right.
Why would you think, I can just leave them 100 pesos? Like, that's only a little over $2.
Right.
Would you leave a $2 tip?
You couldn't. They wouldn't allow you to do
US?
that. They wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. They would look at you like you lost your mind. So yeah, don't undercut good service.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to get over on
Don't do it.
prices, right? And then they want 5-star service.
Yeah.
Like it's give or take. You're not going to get both.
Yeah. Something is going to not be there.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Because one, I think it's a disservice
Right.
to the
Right.
people who live here.
Right.
Because you're a guest.
Right.
They didn't ask you to get on that plane and come out here.
Right.
And quite frankly, if you don't have the money to be, a good tipper and a decent human, maybe you should save some more money before you get on a plane. Look, I'll put it out there. I know someone get somebody with this dirty little remark, but it is what it is. I make sure I do. And two, I'm serious when I say this. I mean this. It shows a very racist mentality.
Right.
I mean that because it's almost like you're saying, in essence, that the people that are waiting on you are less than.
Right.
That they are not worth as much as. Fill in the blank. Because if that was you, and it was your job, and you were depending on that money, you would want correct compensation for what you were worth, correct? If they came to your work and told you they were going to give you $2 to go and do all the stuff you were doing for Republic Services, what would you have done?
Listen, my golden rule is do unto others as you would have them to do unto you. That's my
right.
golden rule. I live by it. I live by it.
That's
because if
right.
I want somebody to bless me, then I got to plant a seed in somebody else's life too.
Amen. I believe that.
Plant that seed.
And planting that seed also includes promoting the ability to have these businesses to flourish. How do you expect the business to flourish?
Right.
Say you love the food. It was a great low price. You sitting there now, you're ready to leave. You have the opportunity of blessing that person that waited on you, blessing that business, and then you don't do it, and then you come back on your vacation, you're like, oh my God, remember that place where we had the amazing breakfast, da 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 da, let's go back there. You go there and the place is closed. Well, yeah, because if a lot of people are getting over on the place and they're barely making it, how are they going to do any better?
Yeah.
They have, I think, and you've seen it on a lot of these videos, they have put it in the minds of everyone coming that, oh, they're going to rob you, gringo pricing, gringo pricing, gringo pricing. If you're in a tourist area, absolutely, probably.
I expect that.
But if you're in like Santiago and everything, no, do what sounds right.
Tourist,
you know if a price sounds right and when it sounds kind of off. Like, oh, how much is that? I mean, that don't sound right. You know, you sure? Da 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 da. And you know, people be like, oh, okay, all right. You know, I give it to you for X, Y, Z. But it doesn't mean that you're going to get robbed everywhere you go. That everybody needs to just get that out of their head. I don't even understand that.
Yeah, please do.
Also, I think it's the type of service that they're taught here. And it's when they're not some of the smaller European and American franchises. Because, I mean, like there's McDonald's, there's Taco Bell, there's Pizza Hut. There's American franchises out here where they're taught the exact quality of service that they want because they want it to match.
Right.
You know, a McDonald's here should match quality and customer service as a McDonald's in the States. So I'm not talking about places like this. I'm talking about mom and pop places that are hiring friends, relatives, whatever. You may not get that type of service that you're used to. And because of social etiquette and norm, there are different here. So, for example, like when we went to, like, I'm going to use Mr. Grilled as an example. People sit back a little, the wait staff.
Right.
And I say to you, are you ready to order? And you're always like, well, no one's come. At first, he used to say that. And I'd say, well, because you need to look at them, motion. Hi. Get their attention. They will come over because they don't like to interfere because they know people are spending time
and having
with friends and family. Yes.
Right.
So they're not going to do that. What they need you to do is just motion over, and they don't rush you off the tables. They won't tell you, well, here's your check, so when you're ready. Like in the U.S. how they do, when you're ready, because I'm about to leave on my shift. They don't ever do things like that here.
They don't do things like that here. Different. Totally different.
Yeah. So I told you, I was like, and then you're like, well, are they going to bring another drink? And I'm like, well, have you motioned to them and asked them? Because, again, they keep their distance, and they'll be happy to bring you a drink, but you need to tell them that you need that drink.
Right, absolutely.
Which a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to, I didn't know that's what I was supposed to do. So just know your social norms because they're going to be different when you come to a different country.
Different country. Everybody do things different.
Yeah, help each other, help them out. And another thing is that you might not get the order correct, and you always want to be very vigilant to look at the receipt before you pay it. Before you pay it, make sure that on there is what you ordered. Sometimes, and I've even had this happen in Vegas. Remember, we went to Blue Martini one time, and we had 2 martinis and an appetizer, and then this lady brings the bill and just smacks it down, and I look and I'm like, wait a minute, we didn't have whiskey and wine and da-da-da. She's like, oh my gosh, I gave you somebody else's
bill.
Yeah, I grabbed the wrong little billfold. Yeah. So, I mean, does it happen? Absolutely. It happens everywhere. Yeah. And as nice as you would be to that person in the U.S. and say, oh, no problem, just, can you get my bill? Do not be afraid to do that here. If the order doesn't come the way you wanted it, because sometimes there is a little language problem sometimes not always, or they took too many orders, maybe they made a mistake, an outright mistake in the order. Don't feel bad correcting them when a mistake is made. Just nicely correct the situation because you deserve to get what you ordered and you deserve to pay for what you ordered, not more, not less. There you go.
Absolutely.
So how can you rectify even a small interaction when you visit and patron a business? Because I would never offer a problem without
a solution.
There we go. So here's some ways to help everything so that you have a great trip, you get everything you want and deserve, and you want to come back, because that's the thing. So make sure to communicate clearly and know there will be cultural differences. Yes, so have patience and understanding early and often if necessary. Meaning, if you know, because we've given you these little helpful hints, there might be a little issue with language, or your Google Translate just doesn't seem to want to be working at the time. You meant this, but you said this. no problem. I'm going to sit back. I'm on vacation, or I live here now. I'm in no rush. Let's solve this. Thank you so much for your time. Here's your tip. So make sure to just communicate clearly and nicely. Don't be rude. Nobody wants to serve you, trust me.
Right.
I was a server. I didn't ever want to be a server. It was a job. Let's be clear. But get to know them. We do it all the time, don't you, with the servers? Strike up a conversation?
Conversation. People ask me on the street, strike up a conversation. This guy I meet when I go food shopping at Supermercado Nacional. He speaks good English.
Yeah.
Every time he sees me, he comes over, speaks English to me, shakes my hand. And like that, it's a community type thing. You get to know people, know them.
Yes.
And if you ever get stuck and you need something, can't find the mayonnaise, can't find the ketchup, bang, you're going to help me find that.
Yes, because when you build a rapport with people,
Right.
it goes a long way.
It goes a long ways.
You know,
Long
it shows them
ways.
that you have respect and that you actually care enough. Like even back in the States, when you walk up to a cashier, do you just throw your money at her? No, you say, "Hi, how are you?" And she's like, "Good. How is your day going?" You know, you have interactions like that
Right.
all the time. Just because you're here in another foreign country doesn't mean you have to just cut off communication and just go.
Yeah, because once they know you, they know you. And like I was in 2 long lines at Supermercado Nacional. Oh, not there, but I was at Central, waiting to get my package from Venmo Pack. So 2 of the girls that normally work in the back with Western Union Venmo Pack, they walk by. When they see me, they said, "Oh, package." I said, "See." And they said, "Come follow me." So now I'm out of line, and I follow them, go right straight in the head of front of the line and get my package, and I'm going. That's happened twice. They recognize me because they see me all the time getting packages at Venmo Pack.
Yes.
So now we got a rapport and a good relationship with them. They even know my last name now.
Means I'm shopping too much. That's how I feel. That's what I think that means. But
But it's all community. You see
Yes,
people,
it
they
is.
see you see them, we all grow together.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes.
I respect them, they respect me, and that's what it's all about. Community, respect, love each other, and bringing money to the country.
Yes.
That's what it's about.
And with that, I would also say recognizing performance.
Right.
So
absolutely.
that means tip and pay
Right.
what things are worth. If you can't come to play because you ain't got the pay, maybe you need to stay. And I mean that, and I direct that to everyone who has said that online. If you are worried that people are going to expect a tip from you, maybe you need to stay home and buy a bottle.
You know what? I always like to plant a seed because you never know what a person is going through.
Exactly.
And whether I'm here or I'm in another country,
Exactly.
always, because God been good to us. So as God bless us, we pour into somebody else's life. We bless them.
Yes.
We give them a nice tip. They have a smile on their face. And guess what? The next time we go back to that restaurant, they waiting on us.
Oh, yeah.
They killing themselves to get to us because we gave them a smile on our face. We wasn't arrogant. We wasn't nasty. We gave them a nice tip. And now they're glad to see us next time we go back.
Yeah.
And give us even better service.
Exactly. And I mean, and not just your waiters and waitresses that are expecting the tip. You get the owners and everyone else who comes over and walks and says, we're happy to see you again.
Right.
Welcome again. What can we do for you? Because that's what it's all about. You're bringing in business and they are providing something for you.
There you go.
So, I mean, we just, and in this culture with everything that's happening, I mean, we really do need to pay just a little bit more attention. If this is not shown a light on just how basic humanity is, why can't we make this world,
Right.
day to day, a little bit better place and just treat everybody with the same decency and respect that we would in turn want? Our kids were servers at some point.
Right.
And I'll tell you this, I expected and hoped that every day they would get some tables that would conversate with them, make their job enjoyable, leave them a tip, and give them what they're worth. Not stiff them, yowl, complain about everything, demand everything free, and then walk out without giving them a tip. So if I expect that for my own children, why wouldn't I do that to others? It's
Right.
common decency. I'm just saying.
See.
So know that some things are above people's pay grades also in these places of business or above their ability. So don't be ashamed or scared to get another person to help facilitate what you need to help
Right.
the situation,
Right.
to make it easier on them so you're not yelling at somebody who absolutely has no way of helping you anyway.
Right.
And frustrating yourself because you're not getting what you want from that person. Sometimes it just takes asking for a manager or somebody else or the
Yeah.
owner,
Yeah,
you know. But honestly, really here, everything's been facilitated much easier through people. I've never really had the need, except for once at Scory, and that's when we first met the manager, to actually kind of motion over for a manager to like wait on us. And then honestly, it's because they were so busy that no one was waiting on us, and I was tired of waiting.
Right.
And still, I was very patient. We were there for like 20 minutes before anybody even
You
was like,
came over.
oh, you're over here. Let me get you a drink. But, you know, normally here things, because the places are smaller, are handled by the person who's, you know, taking care of you and can be handled, or they can go into the back and ask, you know, for some help. There's been a few language issues, and we've conquered that. But other than that, I can say we don't run into too many problems. So kind of if you're running into a lot of problems, you might want to look at why.
Yeah, because sometimes, you know what?
Sometimes it's a snotty attitude.
We bring things. Sometimes we bring things on ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, because if you go to the United States and you're going there with a snotty attitude,
Don't be a Karen.
Tell you what, you ain't gonna like the rest of your meal or whatever. You know,
I wouldn't eat it. I'd be afraid.
I'll be afraid to eat it. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it is what it is. But you know what? We're in a different country, different culture. Everything's different here, and you take one day at a time. Everything is a learning experience. But you know what? You always want to be nice to people. Right.
And what I always tell you is, I was like, sometimes if they don't want to be cooperative or they do something incorrectly, like you've gone to pay the collateral bill and they've forgotten because we have 3 different things to look at.
Right.
They've only done 2, and you're like, no, that's not the right amount. If you know that you're supposed to be paying a certain amount and it's not right, hey, speak up by all means.
Right.
You know, speak up, get help, and you know, your money is your money. I'm not saying to throw your money away. I'm not saying to let people get away with things. I'm just saying that there is always better ways. You can get more bees with honey.
You can catch more. You can catch more flies with honey.
Flies. There you go.
Than you can do with vinegar.
Keep
that in mind.
Yeah. And you know, these hints, we're using them for here because we have seen that these have been little issues here. And like always, we're very transparent, and we want to tell you what we've been through to help you when you come out here, or with your transition if you decide to live out here permanently. But remember that this can happen anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere, any country. I mean, when I say any country, I mean Portugal.
We had issues in Germany. I remember we got the wrong bill at that one bar, and I was like, excuse me.
Yeah. So we got it straightened out. So again, understand your environment, understand where you are, and everybody's not on the same level educationally. So you gotta be patient with them, and if we can't get the right response from one person, try to get somebody else over there so they can resolve the problem.
100%.
Because believe it or not, we don't want nobody and nowhere in this whole country giving other expats a bad name. Because if you give them a dirty look and you treat them disrespectful, when we get ready to go in to eat and they find out we expats too, they're going to treat us like dirt because they figure we're all the same.
Oh, yeah, entitled.
Which we're not. All entitled,
cheap,
snooty,
rude.
cheap, rude, disrespectful, always down on people, talking about people. And that's not what it's all about. Okay, I want a good experience when I go sit down to eat.
Yeah.
Okay, and I want somebody with a nice attitude. I want somebody to love serving me because I love being there, patronizing to their establishment, and I love leaving a tip so they can leave a smile on their face. Even get our nails done. We get our nails done, we get our feet done, everything like that. We leave a nice tip, and they say, "Oh, thank you. Oh, gracias, gracias." We put it right in their pocket because that's going to take care of their bills and their kids and their families when they get home.
Exactly.
So that's what this video is about. So be careful who you mistreat, because it could come back and nip you in the butt. And you don't want to get so bad that every establishment you go to, they won't want to serve you, or they'll perfectly see you sitting there and let you sit forever, because that's how they do in the States.
They do that here too.
They let you sit forever, you know, because
don't be mad when they walk over to my table.
Wesley Snipes been through that in Pastor 57. He couldn't get no service. So, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hold on to it. Information, very valuable to you. Help your transition here a lot smoother. So, in the meantime, between the time, life to be enjoyed.
Make sure you hit subscribe, and remember that the easiest and free way to patronize this channel and support us is by hitting subscribe. Also, remember to hit notifications so you can be informed when we decide to drop those gems of knowledge on the next video.
Peace.